Now I request Dr. A.V. Narasimha Rao sir to deliver his presentation.
So far, you have heard advocates and also other people here, experts in on IP matters. I'm not an advocate. I'm just a teacher. That's all. The organizers asked me to talk on idea to industry. My first question to you all: what's an idea? What do you mean by idea? When we know the idea, then only we can take this idea to the industry for the benefit purpose. Monetization or commercialization, whatever we call, that can be done. What's an idea?
Something new.
It is a thought, opinions, formulation to do something and how to do, what to do. This idea is a very great thing, but idea under intellectual property right is not that great unless you process that idea. How you are going to process that idea? You have to convert into something. Then that particular thing will become the IP. Now, most of us will be talking about the IP and IPR. What is the difference between the two? IP is an asset property, intellectual property. That's all. IPR means a right on that particular property. Individual will be having right on a property which is created by themselves by converting the idea into a format, that is a tangible format. Then that particular intellectual property, you will be the owner or you will be licensee, you will be the organizer, whatever that may be, depending upon the style of the work you are doing. So that idea will be transforming and translating into a particular tangible thing. So that entire process I'll be talking to you now. Okay, once idea has come into your mind, can we take the idea directly to the protection of the intellectual property rights? No. Intellectual property rights will not be protecting the idea in any shape. It only protects expression into a tangible form. Expression, as long as it is in an intangible form, again, unless it can be recognized and separated, it cannot be protected. That's why we need to have the protection part only to that particular part which will be part of it. So there is a process also. First, your intellect, the idea is generated in your mind, that we call it germination, conceptualization, then germination. So that particular whatever you have made the idea, that you convert into innovation, then you have to incubate it and convert into a product it, and incubation will be having a good number of marketing part of it, business analytics will be there with that, and also how that particular product, whatever you are making it, has to be commercialized or monetized. All these things will be there. With this, you'll be able to get idea into a format and you'll be getting something out of it. Then it will be tangible asset. So with this, that format has come to you. Maybe copyright a book, maybe some kind of the article you produced. All these are the formats in a tangible form. So that particular tangible form will become a tangible IP asset. So from idea to that, then you have to make a commercialization. Having a property which has no meaning at all. What are the property, whether it is a tangible or intangible, real or this intellectual property rights, then you have to utilize for the benefit of creating the income upon that. That income generation we call the monetization or commercialization. That commercialization is next. Then when you start commercialization, there is a danger of theft. You have to protect your work, your IP asset from the thieves or from copying or misusing part. This is the most essential. 50% is idea generation, 25% is your commercialization, and 25% is your protection. Then coming to this, when you are having the idea of generation, suppose a big decision you have to take at the time. It is a decision whether to buy or build. And once you have taken a decision and your product is ready, you require to two important pre-incubation, post-incubation. Pre-incubation again, startup nurturing. If you are going to do that particular part, you have to make a lot of study. Then post-incubation. So this is a kind of a business plan. And second, availability of that particular product in the market. Second, bringing awareness. There's a building the brand image. This is called your business. And for this particular purpose, you need good number of training programs. Training to the manufacturers, training to the marketers, training to the branding people, training to the customers. All the things you have to do it. If you are able to do all these things, your product will enter into the society, then it will be having some good marketing. And then financial planning. Your capitals, fixed capital, working capital, and then management plan. Then you have to make commercial decisions, commercial value of taxation. What kind of benefits you are going to give to your people? This is the cycle you have to make when your product you are going to do. Then suppose if you are having an idea about some new product, new service, that is called innovation. When it's innovation, you can protect with the patent law of patents. When you're having the quality or the logo or kind of things, then that idea can be converted into a trademark. When you're having the idea of expression, that expression can be done is a copyright part of it. If you are having the idea about the designing, that is a aesthetic designing which is appealable to your eyes, then that can be designed. So these are the where your entire ideas can be converted into a intellectual property. When intellectual property is created, depending upon their style, rights will come. Rights will be granted so moto. As soon as you are created, that right will be coming to you. So that particular right will become a intellectual property rights. Then you may ask me a question. Then where are the sources of idea? How to get a new idea? If you are a student or if you are some employee in your office, when you talk to your elders or peers or your team leaders or somebody else, during the discussion part of it, they sometimes some new thing may come up. That new thing will be click in your mind. Oh, this is the why can't we do like this? So why can't we do like this is a idea that is going to help you in creating a new idea part of it. Like that, these are the sources where from you can get a new ideas. And whenever you are getting the idea, first question you have to make to you or put yourself whether this particular idea feasible or viable. You have to think that particular product, whatever you're inventing, whether this is marketable or not, you have to make it. Then scalability, then sustainability, then acceptability. How the market is going to accept your product. Value creation. At every point, how the value of that particular product you can increase. Then deliver the value. Whether we are able to give the product equal to the price we are charging. So all these are the things you have to put to yourself and finalize. Then how to go ahead with this particular idea. Outreach and promotion. This is the first step. Then innovation and creation of the IPR. Then legal framework, administration and management, then commercialization, enforcement adjudication. Enforcement adjudication is one of the biggest trouble in intellectual property rights because you will be not in a position to find out who is the infringer. You will be there somewhere else. The product will be infringed somewhere else. So communication from the infringer to you will be taking a lot of time. How to go for a outreach part of it? You are having so many schemes made by the government of India. So you can take the help of those schemes. As a result, you will be able to get your product delivered and time by using this particular part. How to control and monitoring part of it. Cost factors. The most important is the cost. The cheapest the people will be looking into. So it is better that you have to try to make it. And infringing factors and revenue factors, benchmarking how many units you wanted to sell. That also you make it. And evaluating the performances every year so that you can place your ideas again change that particular product in part. And commercialization, when you're taking the property, there's intellectual property is a property. Then commercialization by owner and transfer the property maybe two ways. There's a licensing and also assignment. And these are the market analysis, all the important parts for your commercialization. So these are the different steps from your idea to you are going to industry part of it. Getting idea is not a big problem. And sources you know very well from where you can have it. You can discuss your idea with other your friends. But be careful, don't discuss everything. Other gentlemen copy for your idea. By the time you start, he may be implementing also. At that time, you will have to cut sorry face. So keep reserve that crucial part of the idea. Study the market, make the decisions whether to go for buy or build, then translate into the part of it after doing second analysis, then take a decision. This is what we are going to make it. Right.
There are a couple of speakers for sharing their insights on the topic protecting AI generated creations, a legal perspective. So let me introduce the speakers for the upcoming session. Purva Reddy, she is a senior legal associate at AGR Advisors LLP and a qualified Indian lawyer with over 4 years of experience in corporate legal advisory, contract negotiation, and intellectual property law. She holds an LLM from the University of Singapore, specializing in IP and data protection. With international legal experience, Purva brings a global perspective to legal strategy. And the next speaker is Ms. Tejashwini. Tejashwini is a legal associate at AGR Advisors LLP and a qualified lawyer with over 2 years of experience in general corporate advisory, commercial transactions, and intellectual property rights. Her work spans across drafting and negotiating commercial agreements, advising on IP protection, and providing strategic legal solutions to the diverse clients. So I request Purva Reddy as well as Tejashwini to take over today.
So, we are here to talk about when you use AI to create work, to create something new, when you're creating a new intellectual property to be patented. How can we protect this AI generated work? Can we protect it at all? If yes, then what is the extent of it? Who owns the work? Is it you or the AI that you're using to create it? That's what we're going to be discussing today. Okay, so I'll hand over to Tejaswini. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Special thanks to everyone. So, it's a pleasure to be here today to discuss a topic, intersection of two incredibly dynamic fields, that is technology and law. As you all know, artificial intelligence is here. It's changing how we perceive things. So, when it comes to this, there's also a question about originality. Is it called plagiarism? Because my work is being put in it. I'm using AI to only refine it. So, with this tremendous technology leap, we also find ourselves at an intersection with equally profound legal questions and ethical questions. So, what happens when a machine or an algorithm that creates something new, something original? So, the question arises here: who owns the creation? Can this be considered as a work done by a author or an inventor, or the current IP laws in India or other jurisdiction, are they equipped to protect such work? So as AI continues to advance, it's becoming clear that our legal systems need to evolve alongside them. We need a balanced approach that continues to protect the rights and inventions of human creation, while also recognizing and encouraging that innovation comes from AI-driven systems. So the challenges I was talking about, we'll go into it a little deeper. So the first challenge is attribution and ownership. When AI generates a piece of music or designs a new drug molecule for that instance, it is unclear who should be recognized as the owner. Is it the program? Is it the data scientist? Or is it the company or the end user? If none of them contributed significantly to the creative choices made by AI, can the ownership be claimed at all? Second challenge is data-driven innovation and privacy rights. AI systems typically vast from data sets. They are learned, generated codes. They are based on already existing copyrighted or patented work. So who owns this data? Did the subjects where the AI code is being built, did they give enough consent? And how do these AI-driven insights can be used ethically and legally? And third challenge comes with gaps in the existing legal frameworks. In many countries, including India, AI is not legally recognized as an author or an inventor. Our statutes assume that creative and inventive acts are performed by natural persons and not machines. And the last fourth challenge comes is authorship and inventorship. If an AI autonomously creates an artwork or invents a new process, who deserves legal recognition and protection? And last and the final challenge is the clear need for legal reform. If laws are not updated, we risk the original innovation done by a human creator. Hence, we must look at a more balanced reform. We will now see how AI interacts with different categories of intellectual property rights, that is trademarks, copyrights, and patents. Now, I can easily go on to ChatGPT or Gemini or something. For example, take our logo, AJR. I can just input a prompt saying, give me a logo for AJR Advisors where I want G to be in shades of blue, and it has to be in this font, this format, and it will give me a very unique, creative logo. Can I go ahead and register this trademark? Yes, as long as it is distinctive
and unique, and it doesn't contradict with the other existing logos. So AI can definitely assist in creating new brand logos and names. However, AI itself cannot obviously go and apply for trademark protection. A human or a legal entity must still be an applicant. Coming to copyrights, copyright protects the original expression of the idea and not the idea themselves. Section 2D, subsection 6 of the Indian Copyright Act does recognize computer generated works, but it attributes the authorship to the person who causes the work to be created. Therefore, fully autonomous AI generated works where there is no human input involved currently lacks copyright protection and in India and other jurisdictions also. Coming to patents under Section 2, subsection 1, subsection J of the Indian Patent Act, inventions must involve a novel product or process, an inventive step, industrial application, and more importantly, the person must be a natural person. Thus, where we use AI as a tool cannot be patentable because AI itself cannot be constituted as an inventor, as it lacks legal personhood and therefore cannot seek protection under the current laws. In the next part of our session, my colleague Purva will now delve into the topics of what is AI generated, what is AI assisted, and also talk a little about AI generated art and can it be protected or not. Over to you. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the difference between AI generated work versus AI assisted work. So, as Tejaswini mentioned earlier, our existing IP regime does protect AI assisted work. So, what this means is that if I, as a human being, go to any AI application and ask it to create a very specific piece of work that I want to work on, in that situation, I will still be the original author of the work because I wrote the original poem that's being worked on. So that would be an AI assisted work because AI is assisting me to make it better. Now, in contrast to that, AI generated work is when AI autonomously creates a piece of work. So if I go onto an AI platform, if I say, for example, can you please draw me a picture of a pen? And it draws me a picture of a pen in a very stylistic way, very different, not something that I even thought was possible. That would be AI generated work, and I would not own the copyright in that work because I did not put in any kind of creative energy in that besides from writing a very basic and very simple prompt. So basically, the difference is that when it's AI assisted, a human is the legal author and the owner who puts in the work. So it guides the AI by giving prompts and the editing the outputs in certain cases or curating content. So when it comes to AI generated work, there is still a lot of ambiguity in this space because when AI autonomously creates content, the current laws they don't recognize this as an original work of authorship because as Tejaswini mentioned, the way that AI works is that it collects all of the data that's there in its database, so the entire internet basically, and gives you an output that's like a mix of everything. So it might not be what you originally asked for, but it can be unique. So there's a little bit of ambiguity and uncertainty on who owns it. If no human can be identified as the original author in the sense that we understand it under traditional IP laws, does anybody hold the rights? Does the GPT platform hold the rights? Is it the developer of the AI tool that you're using? Do they hold the rights? That's not very clear and like black and white in this situation. So the biggest debate when it comes to the use of AI for intellectual property protection is when it comes to AI generated art. I'm sure a lot of you know about this Studio Ghibli trend that has been going around on Instagram lately, where you put in a picture of yourself or you and a friend and you ask to recreate this picture in Studio Ghibli style. Now, Studio Ghibli style is owned by Miyazaki. It has an author already. It's a very distinct style of artwork and it has been protected for quite a few years now. So would you call that infringement? Because I'm putting in the original picture that's being changed into this new art style. Is it a new art style? Do I own it? Do I have joint authorship with Mr. Miyazaki? Do I have joint ownership with Mr. Miyazaki and ChatGPT and OpenAI? It's unclear. We don't know. So, do you guys think that AI generated art, if I'm just putting in a prompt in my chatbot and asking it to create a piece of art for me, do you think I own the rights to that piece of art? No? Okay, I agree with you. But if I okay, so if I put in my own picture and I ask it to change it to a different style, do I own the rights to that piece of art?
If it's a unique style, then yes.
If it's a unique style, how do I know if it's a unique style? To me, it looks unique. I don't know who Miyazaki is.
It's not generally owned by someone.
Fair. I feel like there is a lot of debate in that space specifically. When it crosses over from being AI assisted to AI generated, that area is still pretty new and not really explored in the world of IP, and it has sparked a lot of debate of late. So this is something that we found really interesting because Tejaswini and I were looking at the pictures that people were posting with the Studio Ghibli filter on, with like all of the changes that were made, and that was the first question that came in. Does Mr. Miyazaki have a problem with this? Basically, he does, right? Yes. So in conclusion, we just wanted to say that AI generated content is reshaping the way that we work, the way that we move. Every single aspect of our life is being changed by AI, including the creation of creative works when it comes to copyright, including the creation of our logos and trademarks and branding, even marketing, every single thing that a business has to do to reach the customer has some kind of AI powered, AI assisted, AI generated part to it. So we think that while the current laws require human involvement, we do look forward to a day when there are reforms in that are focused to how AI is changing these things and how AI is changing the way that IP law looks and the way that intellectual property rights are being granted and used and exploited. So yeah, that's it from us. Thank you.
So the interesting fact is 40% of the trademarks registered so far are owned by women. While our women are fighting for 33% of the reservation, the irony is 40% of the trademarks are owned by women. And in 2020, 38.5% of the authors of registered works are women, according to copyrights. So, Hindu has reported in 2023, 16.2% of the intellectual property is filed by women. And I don't know how many of you have observed, and in those 6 logos, 3 logos are women logos. Yes, there is no doubt IP is transformational, intellectual property is transformational in terms of economy, society, industry, GDP, everything. But there is a force, common force behind this transformation. The major contributors for the transformation of the society is women. There is a saying in Telugu, ఇంటికి దీపం ఇల్లాలు. And there is a famous slogan, ఇంటావిడ చదువుకుంటంట ఇల్లంతా చదువుకున్నట్టే. So when a woman is literate, when a woman is empowered, entire society will be empowered. So now, how does this connect to our today's International World Intellectual Property Day, right? So from where we are learning the intellect, who is our first teacher? Mother is our first teacher. For everything, we go to mother. Right from Amma. Right for Amma. It is mother only. Right? So, future is about protection of your ideas, your dreams. How you protect your dreams? By sharing your dreams with your family members, your friends, and then you nurture them and you convert them into business or in a workable and viable model, right? That is how you should also protect your ideas. If you're not protecting your ideas, somebody will copy or it may go into very thin air. So the future is not just about protection. How? What it is then? It is about participation. That is the whole idea of La Futuristic. So you have to participate to protect your future. How? Filing patents, owning copyrights, claiming designs, creating global brands. So, how many of you have owned any patent, copyright, or trademark? Have you ever filed anything so far? Anybody have filed? You have filed one. Anybody else? Dipti have filed, I know. So, idea doesn't need to be big or small. It can be anything. The idea can be anything, right from name, shape, color, or anything. If you feel like it is unique, I would really encourage you to contact a consultant and discuss how you can protect your idea. Because today, only the brand value can get you business, nothing else. How good your product doesn't make any difference unless you have a brand. Coming from a strategy background, what I would suggest is your brand value is totally depending on your brand name, trademark, and the IP, how you protect it. We have so many toothpastes in the market. Which toothpaste you will come to your mind when I speak about toothpaste? Colgate. Why? Because you have been hearing it. They have protected their brand value by IP. That is the power of IP. So, on this significant day, I would really encourage you to ponder a few points. Your mind is a gold mine, your voice is a brand, your idea is your legacy. Protect it, own it, share it. Keep this in mind, the few sentences. As you remember, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Yeah? Thank you.
Now, let's move ahead for the next insightful session on the topic the IP of memes, music, and mashups by Advocate Shravanti P. So, let me introduce the speaker. Advocate Shravanti P is the founder CEO of Arya Legal Law Office. She is a seasoned advocate at the High Court of Judicature of the State of Telangana, Hyderabad. She wears multiple hats in the legal arena. Now, I request her to take.
I will just start. First thing, feels amazing to be in this room with such, people from diverse streams. We have women entrepreneurs, we have content creators, we have law students slash memers. I follow all the reels and memes, by the way. I love memes. So, today we are not just here to celebrate the art of digital expression, we are also here to explore its legal tapestry, which quietly weaves through every meme we laugh at and every catchy chorus that we hum and every remix that we share, right? See, the thing is, memes or such reels and everything, for some of us with a very tired day or a very hectic day in the court, maybe even in the law school. So memes and reels, we do share that in the courtroom, by the way. This is a little secret that I'm sharing with some of you. So we do watch reels very quietly, and that just takes us through for the next moment. It prepares us. But this also makes me think, what is this meme that I'm watching? Whose face is it? Who's making it? What is the song that's coming in the reel? Whether it is copyright protected or not, the lawyer in me is always ringing that bell inside my head. It is constantly asking me, is this a copyright protected one? Because after a few controversies that have happened, see, some of us are 90s kids here. I think many of you are Gen Zs, but you still might be. Okay. So, and some of them are not from the 90s. They're not 90s kids. Okay, let us consider them also. So, there have been very old songs that were remixed in the early 2000s. and that were further remixed. And we did enjoy those remixes, listening to all those remixes a lot. Some of them were truly good, but we didn't know that they were old songs. And it seems it paved way for a lot of IP issues in the early and mid 2000s. Now, while studying IPR for our cases or while filing for copyrights, we do keep watching it every now and then. So, uh, here, where viral creativity meets the legal rigor, we should understand that intellectual property is not just academic and it is essential. And when coming to your creativity of memes, right? So memes are the pulse of your modern digital culture. Okay, here in India, Copyright Act it does provide some leeway through Section 52, where it is permitting criticism, review, reporting, and even some parody. Parody, అదే మనం చూసే బ్రహ్మి memes అన్ని కూడా parody memes. So they are all protected by Section 52 of copyright. But in between, there are some people who use the same meme into their content. See, while some are permitted, where the person has used it for making a parody or maybe making generally criticism అనేది ఉండదు, but to make some kind of parody. So at that time, it is essential to know that copyrights is also being violated while others are copying the original meme. ఓకే, అందుకే చాలా మంది వాళ్ళ పేజ్ వాటర్ మార్క్ పెట్టుకుంటారు దానిపైన. Globally, if you see, be it in US, they have fair use doctrine, which can safeguard a meme if it is transformative in nature. No meme is transformative in nature, but still, this is a what do you call it? It's an irony, it's a paradox అని చెప్పొచ్చు. అలాగే even in when you go to UK, parody exceptions are there, and they allow for a dose of irreverence under copyrights. But they differ from one country to another when it comes to making memes and all of that. Okay. Now, there are some landmark cases here. Very famous one is Brown Mark Films versus Comedy Partners, where the transformative nature of South Park's satire prevailed. Okay. Now, moving on, we'll go to music quickly. So we know that music, it's a living, breathing art form. Many such we add lyrics into our ఒకప్పుడు we used to put movies songs lyrics బాగా టచింగ్ ఉన్న సాంగ్స్ లిరిక్స్ పెట్టేసుకునేవాళ్ళం అప్పట్లో క్యాప్షన్గా. ఈ మధ్య సాంగ్ లిరిక్స్ డైరెక్ట్గా స్పాటిఫైలో ఇన్స్టాగ్రామ్ కనెక్ట్ చేసేసుకున్నాడు, ఇంకా చక్కగా లిరిక్స్ పెట్టేసుకుంటున్నారు జనాలు. దీస్ ఆర్ కాపీ రిటర్న్ గైస్. ఈ మ్యూజిక్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ఇస్ దేర్, దిస్ హ్యాస్ బీన్ రికగ్నైజ్డ్. They have a dealing with each other, but there are some people who make their original music, original content, which have been remade anamata, which have been remixed or misused. So వాటికి copyrights are being affected. Movies and all, in order to promote, they are not making promotional events and all like before. Put one song, make it viral, people will make reels, people will dance for it. That's it. So here, there's a slight difference. The movie makers, the artist, the music director, they themselves are giving the rights. So they are purposely making it viral. That's a way of promotion. But misuse of that is wrong. Recently there was this movie called Manjumel Boys. Oh, okay. Manjumel Boys nunchi this particular clip was taken and it was added into reels. They didn't know it will end up into a very big IP litigation. Similarly, there is one more movie, Kantara. So Kantara nunchi a title song edaithe undo Varaha Roopam, people started putting it every temple visit. Food videos cheyadaniki kuda ide paata pedtaru auntylu. Really? So see, these are certain things that led to very huge IP issues. When you're creating any content, any music that you're using, please use only the music that is, or any dialogue that is already there in the list of your Spotify content. If it is not there in that, it means that there is no copyright content being given there. Every music, every lyric, every dialogue, it is someone's brainchild which is being used. So when you are using it, please be very careful. Now, coming into the legal part, okay? So globally, there is this DMCA, that is your Digital Millennium Copyright Act in the US, which is empowering the holders to issue takedown notice swiftly. Coming to your mashups also, there are how many of you like karaoke, by the way? DJ, karaoke, and all. We all love DJ, right? We all love to do a karaoke evening sometimes with our friends. But when you're doing it in a public place, you should be very careful because you might have to pay a minimum of 80,000 rupees for karaoke music. Yes, this happened recently. So, this is a very practical thing that happened. So, there is this person who is a karaoke jockey, and they were having a quiet party in a wedding party, and they were all having karaoke evening, some sangeet or some such event. And what happened was there were these licensing authorities who have their team. The whole team reached out there, and they made a very big ruckus. And poor thing, the organizers, not the organizers, the karaoke jockey had to pay almost double of her fees. So when you're doing a karaoke, please don't post it on Instagram. Please don't make it live. Have a fun session at home or wherever you're going, but keep it private and don't let anyone know that you're having a karaoke session because that will land you in trouble. Similarly with DJ also. While some songs are very much appreciated, some people don't like their songs being mixed with some beats or something like that. So, without any prior permissions, making a cover of music or telling it a tribute and making your own version, it is not at all acceptable. So, these are certain things that we need to keep in mind. We need to think about the licensing authorities. So, I would like to conclude this by telling that in our interconnected world, digital world, the fact that something is online does not mean it's free from the intricate protections of IP law. So, go forth, remix, make memes, create, but do it in a well informed, respectful approach to copyrights. You people are going to be future lawyers, future entrepreneurs. Maybe some are going to be into the film field. We don't know. You might be into entertaining arts, many of you. సో కైండ్లీ బీ కేర్ఫుల్. నేను వైరల్ చేస్తా అని చెప్పేసి దొరికినవన్నీ వైరల్ చేయొద్దు. ఆలోచించుకొని చేయండి. సో ఐఎమ్ టేకింగ్ లీవ్ నౌ. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ ఫర్ యువర్ కోఆపరేషన్. ఇట్ ఇస్ లవ్లీ having you.
Now I would like to request K. Ravikishore sir, President, Metropolitan Criminal Courts Bar Association, to come on to the dais.
Actually, the program organized this, the good program to know a legal fraternity to all and the ups and downs of the legal fraternity should be known to all. And just before the topic raised by Madam regarding the Copyright Act, is a ethnic problem in the world that the persons who put more than the funds for creating the doing in either music or anything or pictures, whatever it may be, within minutes it will be viral in the social media and they are not getting fruitful returns for the works done and the investments made by them. So, as a responsible citizen of India, we should not encourage the copyright infringement of copyright for purpose of our whims and fancies. So, if any person or any social media virals, there is a lot of stringent laws were being imposed by the lawmakers to punish the persons who infringe the Copyright Act. So, as you are so young and energetic people, you should carry on that the Copyright Act should not be misused and you should be very strict in to promote the same. Thank you.
Deepthi Reddy ma'am is a young, innovative serial entrepreneur, concept consultant, and strategic leader. She runs nearly half a dozen of profitable startups, and she is the founder of Womenergy. I request Deepthi Reddy ma'am onto the deck.
Yes, I do believe ideas are goods and commodities that can be sold. That's when I started my first company in 2012 with just one idea, Idea Eco Living Private Limited. So first time when I made my company, I didn't know a balance sheet. I didn't know how to protect my ideas. But yes, Idea Eco Living, I just got in my meditation. I was a spiritualist, so I just drew it, the logo, and started working. First 3 years, yes, I made good number of profits. Then I went into incubating startups. అప్పట్లో ఆర్గానిక్ గంప అని ఇంటింటికి we used to send a natural food and vegetables. I didn't trademark it by that time also because I didn't think that people will take Gampa. So just I thought I'm doing it and the product went into the market. Second brand was Farm Tour. When I did Farm Tour, so I thought agriculture is a culture to be inherited. It has to be given to students, corporates. So I started tourism in undivided AP, first tourism model. Then when I went to Facebook, I used to have the page, whatever groups at that time. Suddenly one day they said, this property does not belong to you. It belongs to some Gerber brand or something. It means they officially took the Facebook. That's when I understood, I'm doing so much activity. I even got national award on that. I was selected. All that stuff was happening. Then I thought, okay, what is the trademark? That's when first I went and trademark Farm 2. That was my, even today I own the Farm 2 trademark. We did lot of activity. Now everybody started doing farm tours. But how do you stop farmers from not using Farm 2 brand? I made them a habit, a revenue model, alternate revenue model. That was my challenge. Most of my farmers were okay, urban farmers. Everybody started putting our Farm 2. Now see, so in India, generalized brands don't have that value. See, farm is nobody's word, everybody's word. Then I realized we can't actually, though I protected it with trademark, it doesn't. So I felt pride also in a way. When a lot of people copy you, follow you, it means you are leading. One day I was at my home. By that time, I have incubated already 3-4 companies. That's when in the night I got an idea. By that time, I was an ardent networker. I got an idea that, I can, women's energy should not be at home. It should come out. Like that, some thought came to me. I drew this Women Energy logo, which you are seeing now. Earlier, it was in orange and green. Then 34 members I started with. Even I didn't imagine I had 100 rupees in my wallet. First 9 months, I made my 1 crore. So suddenly one event company came to me and told, ma'am, we heard about you a lot. You should do some things together. Like that, he was a good guy, that CEO. I also felt rural and all he's doing, let us write. He wrote down, I wrote down. I went back and mailed. He also mailed. Then he said, ma'am, you're not coming to the meeting. It's getting late. We have to run the expo. So I said, create a concurrent expo, mail me, let's start the work. We wrote a Event Maxima Expo, some partnership example. 3 years joint property. At that, I didn't know trademark, IP, nothing. Again, we were just doing like an expo. It was a huge hit. At least 50 lakh coverage of the media, at least 20-30 lakh of stall bookings. Like that. See, it was a lot of money, but due to operational issues, they said digital guy will do the logo. Fine. Anywhere digital guys do the logo. Sometimes we draw, we get the idea. Fine. Joint property MOU is there. Over. First year expo over, successful. Last day, some organizers, they don't keep our logo. That's when I got shocked. Why is Womenergy logo not there? We are the organizers, I said. Then they said, no, some internal issues happening, madam. Don't fight here, please. I will talk to you later. Last day, they discarded the logo completely. That's when I came out and said, it's not fair that. And they said, no, some internal issue is going, investment issue. I'll sort and I'll pay you. That's what that guy said. Okay, on a friendship, we are working, common office, common companies, let it be. Second year, suddenly they changed the logo, purple logo into some green. Now I changed it, Women and all I kept. They changed the Ayush Max to Ayush Expo. My face, my publications, my all prints, and this announced the event. And they shifted another event company called Big Marketing. Now I put it in the Facebook. That's when Ashok Ram Kumar came and he fought the case. We got injunction. Till here it is a civil case, right? I will tell you how civil convert to criminal. Sir was excited, we were excited, we won the case, we went into the Hightex Expo just to deliver the lawyer notice. They came, that lady, whatever XYZ person, she went and immediately put a police station criminal case that we came and threatened with rowdies. Actually, people who came with me were lawyers. Next day itself, police come to my home. All my family members were like, my mother-in-law, very uneducated, panic. It was very traumatic. 2 years that case went on. But I thought when there is truth in a brand, we have to stand by it. I fought for it. I waited 2 years. Finally, last 1.5 years ago, Ankunta, then judge dismissed the case. I got the trademark. Now I own it. So this is first case study. So then second time, VAIM, after Women Energy in 2015 I started. At that time, Telangana is not an investment rich state generally. Okay, so rural had a very little resources. I come from a small town. So I thought we will put VAIM, Women Energy Association of Incubators in Manufacturing. So I put Women Energy logo into another VAIM logo and we started an industry association. Now 1 year we are also good, etc. Why is it going on? Fourth year, COVID time, fourth wave is going on. The next day, the two co-chairs, somehow due to shareholding issue which I gave them, they took over the company. They said, this is ours now, here onwards. Moksh Kalyanram sir is dealing that case, luckily. But her market, how it was gone is, though logo trademark is there with me, book, IPR, అంటే ఒక 18 pages బిజినెస్ మోడల్ రాయాలంటే రియల్ టైం స్టడీ చేయాలి. 2 to 4 lakhs మనం ఒట్టి డిపిఎస్ రాస్తేనే చేస్తాం. అంటే కొన్ని క్రోర్స్ ఖర్చు అవుతుంది అప్పటికే మనకి మైండ్లో. అదర్వైజ్ చూస్తే వి వెంట్ అండ్ ఇన్వెస్టెడ్. దెన్ ద టోటల్ బుక్ వాస్ కాపీడ్ అండ్ సమ్ అదర్ విఎం మార్ట్ సమ్ అదర్ మోడల్ వాజ్ లాంచ్ బై మై ఓన్ CEO and the people and the co-chairs, whatever. But the loss of it is not just money. It is lot of time, value, impact, everything gets disturbed. So this was my latest and second experience, I can say, VM and her market. So these 3 case studies I want you to tell you because it is not civil case. Lot of people who are thinking IP, what is IP for you? Maybe a case, a client, for somebody it is a research. You know, what is it for a woman entrepreneur like me who comes from grassroots and steps into the outside world, fights a lot of patriarchy, fights a lot of competition, fights a lot of things and stands there. It's not just intellectual property. For me, it is identity property. And for a company, it is, ideas are not just ideas. Ideas are dreams. Ideas are life. Ideas are career. So when you are protecting a IP, you are protecting a whole life and a career. So thank you all the young lawyers. Please keep fighting for good IP issues. Be on the right side, do the right thing. Good day.